KU is the #1 seed with Louisville, Oregon, and Purdue. The top 4 seeds, Big Ten tourney champ Michigan gets in at #7 versus Oklahoma State in the first round. At the top half of the bracket there with KU, Miami, Michigan State, a pretty decent 8-9 matchup. Tim, what are you looking at the top half of that bracket? Does KU have an easy march to the Sweet 16?
It's the weakest bracket, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and they've had an outstanding regular season. I know a lot of people are going to pick Kansas to win it all, and rightfully so. I'll give you a team there that I think is so different than so many other teams across the college basketball landscape. I'm going to talk about Purdue. Caleb Swanigan, a double-double machine. He's a pro. Isaac Haas, I think one day will play in the NBA. And when I look at a guy like Matthias, at his size, be able to knock down shots and defense, I think he could play in the pros too. So there's not too many teams in college basketball in my mind that have 3 NBA players. They have that. They did not look great in the Big Ten tournament, but the fact that they have so much size, if they make 8 or 9 threes in a game, they could beat anyone in this region. But this is Kansas's region to lose.
We got a question here, or a comment, I should say, from one of our viewers on Facebook Live. Comes from Jay Rush. He says, Miami is a sleeper team. Now, if they advance past their 8-9 matchup, would get KU in the second round. Do you look at Miami as a team that could possibly knock off the Jayhawks?
They got Michigan State in the first round. They got Tom Izzo in the first round. We know what the Spartans do in March. And we know it's been an up and down season for Michigan State. But Miles Bridges and Nick Ward are 2 very tough guys. Sure. Miles Bridges can go inside, outside. Nick Ward carves out some real estate down in that low block and is productive. At the end of the day, Michigan State's a very tough team. And I think when it comes tournament time, just like you, Tim, you're in a bad mood all day. And then when the lights come on at the show, you're smiling and you look like you get along with everybody. That's what Michigan State does. Regular season, throw it away. It's postseason time. I'm buying Tom Izzo on that team. I can't get behind Miami simply because of the matchup.
Miami, who's going to show up? Is it going to be the team that beat North Carolina and looked like the best team in college basketball? Or is it going to be a team that can't make shots and is stagnant on offense? I think they're a threat. I would trust Tom Izzo with my 2 kids. Maybe not my wife, but definitely my 2 kids. And this is a region, I think this is Kansas. Michigan State looked horrible in the Big Ten tournament. That's another team, really up and down.
How much stock do you put in that, though? That's what the question comes down to. Do you want a team that goes all the way to the finals and gets the hardware? Or do you want the team that loses early, figures it out, gets their rest because it's a long season, as we know, and has the chance to recalibrate, get in the gym a little bit, work on some things, and be ready for March?
I just don't think any of these teams are real threats to beat Kansas.
Okay.
And that's why this is the weakest bracket. And that's what I'm saying.
Do you agree with that?
I think this is the weakest bracket. When I saw it, I said, unless Louisville can do something, this is Kansas for the taking. When I look at it, I say, who's a star? Who can put a team on his back a la Kimball Walker?
You tell me, in this region, who is the player to watch in the Midwest?
The player to watch, I just stayed away from Frank Mason because I've been talking about him all year, and I don't think he's going to sneak up on anybody. But the guy that I look at is Donovan Mitchell for Louisville. I mean, this is a guy that is spurt ability. He can just score in bunches. He embodies what this team's about. And Louisville is a team that dictates tempo. They'll go out there and say, you're playing our game tonight. You want to slow it down? Not on our watch. We're going to get up in you. We're going to guard for 94 feet. We're going to play fast, a lot of possessions, and we're going to be disruptive. And that's what Donovan Mitchell embodies for this team. I talk about playing downhill. When I say that, what I mean is this is a guy who can go right at the rim with momentum. He's hard to keep in front. And now that he's got that three-point shot, you got to respect him from distance. And when you do, here comes the blow-by and finishing at the rim.
I like your pick. When Louisville makes shots because they're so athletic, they could be very difficult. They got Michigan in the bottom half of that region. Which Michigan team's going to end up showing up? I'm going to stay in the bottom half of that region, and my pick's going to be Dylan Brooks. Now with no more Boucher there, he's out with injury. Dylan Brooks is a guy that can do a little bit of everything. Sure. And the thing that I like most about him, he's got the big marbles.
What are those?
He's willing to take big shots in big moments. Last year, he told Coach K to take a long walk off a short cliff after they beat Duke. And now this year, Oregon's one of those teams that compete with anybody on any given night. We see the game winners he made against Cal. We see the game winners he made against UCLA. And this guy is a next-level talent. So I think this region's very, very easy. I think that Brooks has NBA potential.
Where's Oregon going?
I think Oregon's a team that can make a run. Go back in any team that's won, and you could point out the guy and go, oh, yeah, they had that guy. I think we're going to look at this Oregon team when they get to the Final Four. That is my pick right there. I think Oregon comes out of this region.
But here's the one thing I worry about is when you lose a guy late in the season that has such a big part of your identity, Chris Boucher, who's the rim protector and who's that big body, can stretch your defense out, knock down shots. When you lose him, you're kind of in scramble mode. You don't think that's going to affect this team?
It could. I didn't think it was a short-term effect against Arizona. They lose to the Pac-12 championship, but that was a competitive game. Obviously, that was quick news, quick turnaround. Right. They're going to have a little bit of time to prepare. Quack.
The Midwest has been covered
Quack.
thanks to our friends at Hotels.com. Instant
Quack.
savings now,
Quack.
free nights
Quack.
later,
Quack.
Hotels.com.